Okay, so we've got Patrick Henningsen here today of UK Column News fame, TNT Radio as well, and we're here at Jam for Freedom 2023 and just heard a talk from you about the importance of physical get-togethers. If you'd just like to expand on that a bit.
Yeah, what I was just really telling everybody is, especially obviously after the COVID hysteria of 3 years and everything being shut down, and also the censorship that went alongside that, people's voices getting silenced. One of the only outlets is physical gathering and physical expressions of free speech and physical performances, live events, big or small or whatever. Now it's become imperative because it's one of the only things that is hard to cancel. They can cancel venues, yes. There can be some. This is happening. It's happened to me personally, where the mainstream media found out we're doing an event criticizing the media, and we get all the venues were told not to host this in a certain large city in the UK. So it happened. So there are forces that do shut down live events, but you can still organize things and informally as well through arts, through music. And so a musical gig that has a political kind of angle to it is fantastic. We went to one in London this past week. The music is amazing, the crowd was amazing, and people were getting together and networking, and also supporting the artists that are championing these views that us in the audience and the community and the kind of freedom movement, if you will, that hold near and dear to their hearts. So it's the way to do it.
Yeah, because it's very important to spread our wings. We're getting censored, shut down, shadow banned. I'm certainly feeling the effects of that on my channel, and so getting the word out there any way we can, whether you want to pick up a phone or a camera and do videos, photography, art, like you say, it's all and just singing, it's all so important, and we've all got our little ways, individual ways, haven't we?
Yeah, and I think it's also, there's a lot of great artists, actors, musicians, filmmakers that aren't shy about injecting politics into their work, and not just politics, but like right and wrong, issues like freedom and liberty. They're really putting that front and center in their art, so that's what they're about. So if you support those artists, you're supporting those issues, and that's a big change. We spent the last 30 or 40 years where the establishment was trying to rinse out and expunge all of all that politics, all that sort of highly aware, highly consciously evolved parts of music, of art, of film, of TV. They went to kind of push that out. It didn't jibe well with the corporate agenda or the social engineering agenda. Now it's come back in, and it's done it through stealth, really, but through the grassroots. And I see a lot more happening on this front than before. Even though the pandemic's over, and even though the lockdowns aren't an immediate threat, we're still seeing a lot more of this stuff coming out in music and live performances and how people are getting together. And I think this is kind of interesting. This is exciting. So freedom, liberty becoming more fashionable, more trendy again. But it's happening at a time when there's some heavy restrictions that are continuing to be imposed on people and what they're doing. So this is a challenge, but you really don't have a choice. I think at this point the people have to move forward and get louder, get more active, get more organized, do more events, even small events. Look at how successful Stand in the Park has been. It's literally a national network, totally decentralized, completely informal, not managed by any central hub, but yet everywhere. And everyone can sort of look, and that's their tribe, whatever town or city they're in the country. It's really brought people together in a way that's what this tent is, this Stand in the Park tent. It's a great name for that. So that's real. That to me is one of the most significant developments developments out of the whole COVID craziness. It was the emergence of Stand in the Park.
Yeah, that's been an absolutely incredible phenomenon. It's been a large part of my life over the last 2 or 3 years, my wife as well. And the attendance is going down slightly, and I think it's because people have used that as almost a stage one of a rocket, and that's kind of almost falling away. That's not to say that the Stand in the Park's becoming less important, but it's almost like people have gone their own separate ways, doing all sorts of different things in the freedom movement. So where do you see things evolving over, maybe not long term, but over the next year?
I don't know. I don't know where things are going to evolve. I just know that everyone's very aware of the various challenges that are coming in. Like the WHO, if you're talking about the health front of the kind of more the COVID theme, WHO pandemic treaty, there's been some very good pushback against that, even though by not a lot of people, but enough to, I think, put the whole thing on notice. So that's really encouraging. But this is going to become a full-time job. Is whack-a-moling and batting back all the stuff that the state, the corporate state, are attempting to do to try to get a hold of people's freedoms and free speech. They don't like the fact they can't control the conversation. They can't control what goes viral, what's trending. People are deciding that for themselves. Those who used to dominate that have always been able to enjoy the domination of that space. They don't have it anymore, and I think it's very frustrating. It's hard to control the sheep when the sheep are doing their own thing. So that's the battle that we're. Of course, they're not sheep at that point, but that's the battle that we face. So I think it's easier when there's an immediate threat, and when your freedoms are literally being visibly restricted. And of course, that's mobilized most people over the last 3 years. But then just lifting that restrictions just enough that people get to breathe, then they tend to want to get back to their normal lives. And so, but all it takes is a small percentage to be dedicated and active. It doesn't need to be everybody, but just a significant minority, and that's enough. Throughout history, that's been proven to be enough to stem the tide of authoritarianism. But again, it's a full-time thing. It's our generation and the next. It never ends. It never ends. It's a process that you just have to continually be reacting to and pushing back against, and also doing your own thing too. So there's no silver bullet. It's you got to be all in and pretty much forever, and that's the attitude that we need to take.
Yeah, in it for the long haul. We're all doing our bits in whatever way we can. You are, for sure. I am doing my tiny little bit, and there's so many of us out there as well. So where, obviously, UK Column News, where else can we find you online?
Well, my main website is 21stcenturywire.com. And I started that in 2009. We have a podcast, a radio show called The Sunday Wire, long form, Sundays, 5 p.m. And that's on 21stcenturywire.com. TNT Radio, Monday to Friday, 5 till 7, live, every day. Great platform. And of course, UK Column. At the moment, I've been doing for a few years, Friday's news program at 1 p.m. UK time. That's obviously visual. The others are audio. And also appear on a lot of other people's shows too.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time, and I appreciate the work you've been doing. First encountered you on UK Column News a few years ago, and that source of news has been very important for me, and thank you. So Patrick Henningsen, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.